chat. It's really not that bad. Chads are gonna chat and take the hose from Brad. It's not too rad to be Brad. Chads are gonna chat. Chads are gonna chat. Brad thought that being nice would get him some bitches. Too bad it left him in stitches. Chad didn't have to. Brad did all the Brad did all this shit for Stacy just to get a maybe. And Chad walks in and says hi, and Stacy comes in and says bye. Hoes are gonna hoe, keep it on the low. Chads are gonna chat. It's really not that bad. Chads are gonna chat. You better be glad. Chads are gonna chat and take bitches from Brad. Chads are gonna chat. Hoes are gonna hoe. Keep it on the low. Hoes are gonna hoe. Hoes are gonna hoe. Chad already knows. Hoes are gonna hoe. Thank you, everybody. I know. Hold on. Guys, my AC in my house is like not working, so I might start sweating during the stream. You got to forgive me. I might start sweating. I know. I'm waiting on my music deal. I know. How's it going, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. I love you all. I really love you all. I don't know how I would do I don't know what I would do without you, truly. You guys could be doing so many things tonight. And yet you have decided to watch my show. So I appreciate it. Okay, so today we're talking about nice guys and why nice guys finish last, and it's for a good reason. Now, this might be one of my more controversial streams, but oftentimes all of society wants women to get with beta bucks. Now, beta bucks in a relationship in the context of a woman, meaning they're letting the woman lead. Women typically pick beta bucks for resources, parental investment, and they typically pick alpha fucks for genetic material or leadership qualities. Now, we get into a little bit of a problem because women naturally want to procreate with alpha fucks. Women naturally do not like beta bucks. To be fair, women don't like anybody, right? Thank you. Thank you for the $20 super chat. We don't even like ourselves, so don't take it too personal. But women want to be with alpha fucks. And in order for society to function, women have to reproduce with the best genetic material possible. But this poses a problem because women are naturally always going to pick the top 20% of men. Now, this is contextual. The same guy could be the bottom 80% of men and the 80%, but top 20% of men at different points in his life and even in different rooms. Like, for example, I have a friend who plays guitar and he jumps into the top 20% of men. He jumps into the top 20% of men immediately when he plays his guitar. Bitches love guitar. So in order for society to function, women must date men they don't like. Now, this causes a ton of issues. Women did have less choice in the past, and conservatives argue that they did have a choice. But really, when you take into account societal shame, and the lack of free shit being given to women, women had to marry men they did not like in order to survive. Now women have the choice to live without men. Yes, women need skills, men's skills and money to survive, but collectively as a society, we have subsidized women's ability to be with the top 20% of men. Now, the equivalent of this, I was thinking about it. And if you guys have a thought later in the show when we do the call-in, I was thinking about that women the equivalent of this would be young women being subsidized for men to bang. I don't know how, but if you got a better analogy, you can put it in the chat. Women will always organize themselves to be with the top percentage of men, and hypergamy is not a straitjacket. A lot of times, men put their own point of view on women. Men like things that are dependable, useful, and obedient. So many times when fathers, brothers, or even male friends tell women who to pick, they tell women to pick men that are dependable, obedient, and useful. But the issue is the customer's always right, and that's not what women want. Women like chaos, women like strength. That is emotional strength, money to some degree, although that's not what we pick first, in genetic material. Now, I had a reaction or a coffee talk the other day. I can't remember the precise topic, but I noticed there was a comment that I thought articulated this pretty well. I said that marrying a man that's a provider is an L for women. And I think this offended some of the guys in the chat because, I mean, which one of you guys hasn't been a provider at some point? You know what I mean? It's just an L. And, I think men come back and they say, hey, but objectively, logically, that's a good deal for women. And I'm like, look, the customer's always right. That's not what women want. Women want spark, connection. We want to be with Leonardo DiCaprio on the freaking boat, You can't shame the customer out of wanting what they want. You could argue it's immoral, but that does not change the fact that women want men that have high status behaviors and not money. Now, let's go into the female psyche. Any woman that has sex out of obligation knows how to. Any woman that has sex out of obligation feels like they have to have sex. Most women have sex out of obligation and not desire. For example, I have to have sex with my boyfriend, so he proposes. I have to have sex with my husband, so he does not leave me. Going into the female psyche is understanding that women want, and their dream is to have sex for fun and not to get things out of it, not for resources. So that's where false rape That's where false rape allegations come into play. Although women are evil and spiteful and all that stuff, a lot of times it's because women retrospectively view sex that they had to have out of obligation as rape. Now, it's not necessarily true, right? But that's how we feel. And in this society, the customer is always right. And it's useful to understand how women feel, right? Robert Glover's book, somebody called me out on this in the chat, No More Mr. Nice Guy, discusses the idea that nice men are not nice. In fact, they are weak. Nice guys are secretive. Nice guys are fundamentally dishonest. They give gifts and presents and submit to the women in hopes that she will give them sex or genuine desire in return. Nice guys are actually unable and unwilling to verbalize their own needs. Nice guys are not willing to correct women in their lives. They're neurotic. They're always thinking of what will go wrong. He puts himself on a pedestal for being attentive to the needs and desires of others and gives with the expectation of getting something back. Nice guys are controlling. They can't control emotions. So when problems arrive, they get weird. It's kind of like the guy that freaks out. Here's the difference. A nice guy, Jack in Titanic. I use this a lot because women love this movie. The reason the rich fiance was a villain to Rose is because he was neurotic. Rose said, look, ninja, I'm going to go bang this guy in the bottom of the boat. Sorry, not sorry. I'm going to go bang him. And the fiance, he pulled out a gun and crashed out. That's what the nice guy does. Cause he's like, it's like repressed, right? It's like, I have done all this stuff for you. I expect you to do this for me. Where if he was a real ninja, he would have just said, have fun on the, have fun on the bottom of the boat, bitch. Is there a nice young Latina? Is there a Latina from the bottom of the boat who wants to come with me? I need a new wife. Do you know what I mean? That's an attractive mindset. But he crashed out. Do you know what I mean? This guy crashes out, gets a gun, gets so mad. Titanic was fiction. Okay, I know it was fiction. I'm totally aware it was fiction, but it speaks to the female psyche. There's a reason women relate to this movie, right? It's women's dream to marry the guy that they love for him and not money. Nice guys use their behavior to control outcomes. Nice guys give in order to get. And women do this too. It's kind of like men at some point. All women are basically nice guys. Nice guys, in a way, are adopting the female psyche because women give in order to get. That's why sometimes, when men are banging a chick, right? And she's like, oh, let me cook dinner. And then the chat is like, no! Sorry. You will not cook dinner because I don't want you to be entitled to anything from me in the future. I'm here to pump and dump, bitches. She says, I got you concert tickets. He's like, no, because he understands that about women. But it's like adopting a female mentality, right? Nice guys give in order to get. Nice guys are passive aggressive. They're full of rage and repressed rage. Rage that women are choosing assholes. I am nice, so you owe me sex and love. Nice guys outsource their worth to her reactions. So they don't feel good enough in their own skin. It's based on how women respond. Right? Niceness is covering up insecurity. Women aren't broken or hypocritical for choosing men who take risks, hold frame, and don't seek validation from them. The rejection of the classic nice guy is a feature, not a bug, and it's accurate it's accurate screening for men who can actually lead and create attraction instead of covertly demanding it. Men that complain about women tend to be reactive, even though I complain about women. In a way, complaining about women in general shows that, and this is, I'd like to say this is very hypocritical, and I'm going to keep doing it. Some things, some flaws that you have, you'll just keep going. You'll just keep going with it. It's like, well, take me or leave it. But when you complain about women, it's communicating that you're bad with women, right? It's communicating that you're it's like not holding frame because you're reacting to other people. The guy reacting to a woman doing something to him, he's not holding frame. Even though it's like perfectly reasonable, he's like, I paid for this cruise. I got you on the lifeboat and you're banging some guy in a car. But if he was a Chad, he would have said, all right, next bitch, Nice guys are reactive to women. Nice guys do not have the courage to be honest. Nice guys don't have the courage to look dumb. Nice guys live in fear. They do not have the courage to make mistakes, and this repulses women. Women hate men that are looking for her approval. Validation-seeking behaviors include bombarding women with good morning texts and how are you messages, seeking reassurance, do you like me? This is tied to childhood patterns of managing mom's moods replicated with women. It reads as low value and puts her in a masculine role. The I did everything right resentment after months and years of being the perfect supportive partner. Listening, helping, and never cheating. He complains that she's not affectionate or sexual enough. Guys who's always available and never rocked the boat and then wonders why dead bedroom, or she branches to someone with edge. Women reject or lose attraction because it signals he can't lead or handle reality without his validation. And I was thinking about it, and I'm like, in a way, the guys that are courageous enough to be assholes to women, in a way, they kind of deserve the bitches. They kind of deserve it because I think it's more difficult when you love a woman. Like, I think it's easier for a man to make $1 million than hurt a woman's feelings when he really loves her. Is that beta of me to think? It seems like a man could easier make $1 million or succeed at work than he could say no to women. And I say this because I just look around and nobody seems to be able to do it, right? It seems like that's actually more difficult because I think I've met more, maybe it's my circles, right? But I think I've met more millionaires or men on track to be millionaires by the time they're 40 or 50 or 60 than men that say no to their wives that they love. Is that crazy? Being a nice guy is like wanting a reward for raising a brat. So it's kind of like, imagine if you had a company, right? And the boss said, I did so much for the employees. How did they not respect me? And you're like, do you want a cookie for having terrible employees? Like, when you think about it like that, when you start to think about it like men allowing things, you almost start blaming the man instead of the woman. Like, Steph Curry, it's like, can you not get your woman in line? Are you going to tell her to shut the fuck up? Do you know what I mean? Like, when their wives are wilding out, it's like, you don't have the courage to stand up to your wife. Oh, but she could take everything. Isn't that better than a nagging wife in your ear? Your kids are going to have to suffer because they're never gonna, you're going to allow her to ruin them too. And when I started thinking of it like this, I'm like, I think we're right. And so I thought about this a little further. And I'm like, in a way, it's really on the guy for allowing women to treat him that way. All right, contracts. I gave you a back rub, so you owe me sex. I bought you dinner, so you owe me sex. It leads us to hate accepting things from you because we don't want to accept anything. Like, it's like crazy. If you meet a 22-year-old hot chick, it's absurd the amount of the amount of resources that are thrown at her 24/7. And you start to not even feel bad for the guys because you're just like, she's made it so clear she's not into you. And you just keep throwing the money, you keep throwing the validation, you keep telling her how awesome she is. What are you getting out of this? Why is it that the guy has to bring everything to the table? Well, you don't have to play, right? It's, we have a bunch of fat whores on the market. I'm not saying you got to play. But if you're going to play, it is on you what you allow, And I don't mean to say this to judge or to nag you. I'm sure I couldn't do it better. But I'm kind of thinking of this concept because if you start to think of men as the bosses of households, that's what they're supposed to be, right? If you have a boss that's tricked into thinking that he's equal by employees, do you feel that bad for him? Are they nice or are they just weak? And it's okay, right? I'm weak in a lot of ways. I'm soft in a lot of ways. I'm not judging. I'd like to make it clear. This is a judgment-free zone. I don't think I'm better than anybody. But I think of things because I come from a sports background in terms of sports. And like if you lose a game, it's so much more helpful to know why you lost. I remember I had a female versus a male coach. And the male coach would just say, you did X, Y, and Z. And the female coach would be like talking about our feelings from the game, you know. Nice is nice, weak is weak, two different things. Well, you can call in and tell me. If you think I'm wrong, hey, I don't think I know everything. Okay. Frame is controlling what you can control. Women like, oh, wait, let me get the actual definition because I thought I had it in here. I don't want to misquote it. Is the set of beliefs, interpretation of events, and personal boundaries that define a person's reality. Okay, yeah. So it's like if you're worried about her cheating, you're in her frame. You're not in your frame. She should be worried about you cheating, ninja. You know what I mean? Defining your own path, ensuring it's not dependent on others' actions. So it's like, what am I going to do with my life? Having a woman to cook and clean is nice, but I can get there, you know, with or without you, you know. Maintaining frame requires constant self-awareness and control of your emotions. Yeah, so when women get you to argue, that's what we want. So it's almost like you're entering into her frame by arguing with her. You're reacting to her. And I'm kind of new to these concepts. I just read Robert Glover's book, so this is not the most perfect. I get a little nervous doing the show, but it's not the most perfect show in the world. But when you think about it and you understand the rules, you're almost like, damn, a lot of these ninjas brought this upon themselves. Frame is a mental filter and a set of rules that dictate how you interact with the world. You're encouraging men to define their own reality rather than operating in someone else's. Many men signal their low status through their behaviors. Many of these behaviors are repulsive to women. I would argue it's harder to be socially assertive to a woman you love than to make, maybe not a million, I'll say make six figures. You have to look at the girl's face and not fold. You have to deal with the social stigma many times when you tell her no. You have to deal with friends nagging you, her friends, society. And in a lot of ways, that's difficult. Women are correct, actually, to not like men that have validation seeking behavior, men who seek validation and avoid conflict. We like men that don't shy away from the fact that they want to fuck, but also, walk away when she says no, right? Women like men that are honest about what they want. And when they don't get what they want, walk away and say, okay, next. Again, he might have been able to get Rose to beg for him back if he didn't pull out his gun and crash out on the Titanic, whatever her fiance's name was. But the issue is, she crashed out. So he crashed out. Like, he was communicating that Rose was that special. Do you know how many thin women there were in 1920? Get you another bitch, you know. Alphas don't worry about it as much because they're busy. There's assertiveness for boundaries that women are attracted to. Some of the ones listed in the book were broken record, negative inquiry, doing something you want to do, or doing assertiveness, negative inquiry, fogging. Negative assertions, negative inquiry. You can Google those. We can go through those a different day. Women are not wrong for selecting men with assertive communication, boundaries, and an IDGAF attitude. If anything, that is a level of bravery that is not displayed normally. Nice guys have no self-respect. They allow their wife to make decisions and run the house. That is like a boss allowing their employee to run the company. Can you really blame them? Women will always make demands of your time and energy, and assertive, quote unquote, bad men protect themselves. So, and don't avoid conflict. So this is kind of a new concept to me, and I actually think it's pretty interesting. So if you guys have thoughts on it altogether, I'd love for you to call in. Let me do. I'm going to send Doug MPA. Actually, I'm going to go. So anyways, in a way, men avoid upsetting women so much just in life that I really think they'll make $1 bajillion before they do it. So if it's more rare, and this is arguable, but I think it's more rare to find men that aren't afraid of upsetting women. I think that's more rare, especially their wife or a woman they love, than it is to find a rich guy. So we're going to send it to Doug MPA. Now this is a fair criticism. A boss can sack his employees. But I'll tell you what, the bad guy will take his self-respect above all, just in general. Again, they're less controlling in general. They let go of things they have no control over. You know how gangster it is when a woman is trying to take your kids and the dude just says, you can have them. Oh, I'm going to air you out online. Post it, my ninja. Post it. You know, that's a level of bravery. It's an IDGAF attitude. And sometimes it'll go your way. Sometimes it won't. You're not in control of outcomes. Laws reward women divorcing their husband. That's true. But Leonardo DiCaprio has still found a way to get 18. There's men that figure it out, right? All you can do is learn from those guys. Or not play, right? Some games you can just say, do you know what? This is too hard. This is too difficult. And I wouldn't blame you. Like, I wanted to go Division I as an athlete. And I thought, do you know what? That shit was too hard. I accepted my failure. Because I'm like, do you know what? Not many people succeed when it comes to that. That's pretty rare. Like, most athletes don't go D1. So you guys can call in. We'll start with Doug MPA and Sean. Welcome to the show. My assertion is that nice guys finish last for a good reason. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I don't necessarily have a question. I just want to hear people's thoughts on the topic. So, Sean, Doug MPA, you can go, and then Sean go.
So first off, you were cooking earlier. Like this is one of those tough conversations. It's tough for a lot of guys to have because we've been nice guys, and like you're just pointing a mirror at a lot of us former nice guys. And one of the worst things about men, like the hardest thing to deal with as a man, is being mad at yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like being a nice guy and figuring out that you're a nice guy and seeing that you're getting nice guy results and having to make the change. It hurts and it's tough, especially in this gynocentric social order in the West that we have. So yeah, you were cooking 100%. In the chat, this guy said, "How does one get coined a nice guy?" I said, honestly, I don't think you get coined a nice guy. You start getting nice guy results in your life first, and then you get put into a nice guy category. Then women start calling you a nice guy. Understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, because the nice guys can't run from it because the one guy will have two bitches, and he's like, "Where's mine?" You know?
Yeah. Everything you're saying in the monologue is 100% true. And here's the thing, like you, especially guys, when you hit every man gets to a point where you're at where most men get to the point where you're at where you're supposed to be, dude. Unless you make a change. And as you get older, less and less men are willing to make a change. So, yes, nice guys do finish last because you're getting nice guy results and you're not willing to do what's necessary to change it. And this isn't just with women, it's with life in general. Nice guys, even in your professional life, all sorts of stuff, nice guys, they get nice guy results holistically. Understand what I'm saying? So yeah, you're cooking 100%, bro, like 100%. It's tough because most of us have simped and most of us have been nice guys. You can't avoid it in the West, especially in the United States. Most of us, not all.
Pretty much all. Like I was thinking, I think it's more rare to find men that say no to women than to find rich men. I was like, so it must be easier to do.
That's true. Yeah.
Like, I think you could find guys that make six figures. Like, you meet, like, I don't know if it's because I'm in a nice area, but like, I feel like you meet them all the time. And then it's like, I know they're not the largest percentage, but some start not making six figures and they will someday. So I'm like, that seems to be more rare than a guy that I know guys that can tell women to like shut up or put them in their place, but it always changes once they're in love.
Yeah. Okay. So if 10% of men make six figures or more, what percentage of men in society out of 100 are able to say no to women? What, like 2 or 3%?
Yeah, 2, 3.
Okay. Now, of that 3%, how many are able to say no to women throughout their lifetime?
That's hard because I think maybe like 10% of men, 20, maybe get it someday. 10, 20. Like one guy might be a nice guy for 20 years, but eventually, they get annoyed. But it's also the same question of 10, because you're saying 10% of men make six figures, but I wonder what percent of men make six figures in their lifetime. You know what I'm saying? So like he might not make six figures in his 20s or 30s, but like, I don't know. Just a question. I don't know. Sean, what are your thoughts on the topic?
Man, y'all was cooking. I would say you finished last as a nice guy behind everybody, behind the dog, behind the cat, behind the children, behind the raggedy cat down the street, the stray cat. Like you are behind everybody at the end of the day as a nice guy. And I want to hone in on this nice guy word, actually. What it really is be good to yourself and be good to good people. And I think a lot of times a nice guy is being good to someone who's not being good to them.
Yes.
They're just being good, period.
I knew you were going to
that leads to... Go ahead.
No, I just said I knew you were going to cook because I interrupted you. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's all good. Yeah, so they're being good to people who are not giving them reciprocity at any shape, form, or fashion. And it's not only them, it's the rest of everybody else. Probably their friends. Yo, bro, happy wife, happy life. It's probably the therapist who needs a therapist that is giving them therapy on how to do it. So at the end of the day, you were cooking when you said everybody in the culture reinforce it also. So it's hard to get out of it because then you look like a rager. But when you say that there's a point, like let's say Elon Musk is a 0.001% man, as far as the man that can say no to the women he loves, because they can say no to random women, but that's rare too. But it's rarer to say it to the women you love. If Elon's a 0.001% man, then that's 0.0000000.1% of men that can do that, Pearl. Elon was crying about losing Grimes. Grimes had more power over the richest man in the planet. So at the end of the day, even the wealth and the ambitious men end up getting trapped by the women they love.
So you
Can I
think
ask?
what percent of men do you guys think overcome their natural nice guyness? Like, let's say out of 100.
I would say, okay, there's guys that there's the guys that are just nice and can't overcome it. There's the guys who suffer enough and can't overcome it and disengage. And then they're the guys who overcome it. So I think the smallest percentage are the guys who overcome it. But then there's this weird purgatory where you know that that you don't have the skills necessary to say no, so you pull back, and you're seeing more of those guys that choose not to be involved with women at all. So then you have the guy that'll never get over it. So there's 3 positions, in my opinion.
What do you think, Sean?
Reinstate the question one more time, Pearl.
What percent of men get over being nice men?
I would say it's always, if they do, it's temporary. I would actually say a lot of them do, but it's temporary, meaning they go through it, right? And then they blue pill rage because something bad happens. And it's not red pill rage, it's blue pill rage. They blue pill rage about it. And then they say, man, you gotta be a bad boy. You gotta be a D. You gotta be terrible to women. And then they fall in love again and they revert back to the nice guy. Even when they're actually having on the cosplay of a bad man role.
That's so true.
Even when they have the cosplay, Pearl, they have it, and then they're secretly in the corner on confession talking about, this is really not me. I'm really not this type of guy. And I really want something special and real. I've seen it live on television. That's really how men are about it.
Because here's the thing. You get to the point in life where things are just your nature. And so and acting against your nature, you can only do it so, like, acting against your nature, it feels like work. So a lot of guys, it's hard for them to be, if they're nice guys, it's hard for them to be a bad boy or be mean for any length of time because it feels like work. I have a question for Pearl and Sean. A lot of nice guys, a lot of nice people, a lot of givers, they give and they're nice and they give to the wrong people and they get nothing in return. But what they get is that feeling of being nice. It's like, and that is their reward. So the only person rewarding them for simping and giving in themselves is themselves. Do you know what that's called or why that's a thing? Like, why do nice people or nice guys give? What's that feeling called when you're giving to other people and you're giving nothing in return, but you feel good about it? What's that called? Like, why is that a thing? Are you understanding my question?
I'm not. Okay, Sean is, so maybe he can answer.
You understand what I'm saying, Sean?
Yeah. But you know why you get it, Pearl Dope? Because she's not a man. She ain't been conditioned to do some dumb stuff like that. So basically, it's a situation where it's basically like what he's saying, Pearl, is men that continue to give to people without the reciprocity, but they still feel good. I mean, this is what men indoctrinate in society other people with. It's like, man, you should not be happy at Christmas. Everybody else should be happy. You should be suffering. That type of stuff. It's not a man's job to be happy. His job is to make
heard
sure
that
everyone else is happy.
I've heard that so many times.
Yeah,
bro.
Like in my media career, it's not a man like men. It doesn't matter if they're happy. Oh, my gosh, that's so true.
His job is to make sure the dog's happy, the society's happy, the children are happy. His job, that makes him happy. If they're not happy, and then they continue with that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's what kind of Doug was saying.
Yeah,
But you just been programmed like that, my guy. That's literally it. It's nothing. If you go to the Scandinavian societies, they condition the boys to be very passive, and they condition the men or women to be very aggressive. And when they grow up and they're adults, they have exactly that. Women are going out chasing the guys. They're being aggressive. Men are being super passive just because they were conditioned like that. So most men are conditioned just to serve women like that, regardless of reciprocity. I say it's terrible. Reinforced by the mothers, too.
100%.
It's ridiculous.
Donnie, what's your thought on the topic? Welcome to the show.
Hi, Pearl. Hi, Doug. Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, I'll try to be quick as always. Doug, I think the word you were looking for was altruism. You know, when you sacrifice for others.
Yes, that is the word I was looking for. Thank you. Yeah, altruism.
Yes. See, the thing is, I think I can really speak to this. I know you guys use the Friends in the thumbnail. You know, Ross from Friends. But I think the worst simp in fiction, modern fiction, might be Bill from King of the Hill. You guys ever watch Hank Hill, King of the Hill?
Yeah,
I never seen
Okay, well, Pearl, I recommend you watch it. It's a great red pill show, great slice of life show. You know, Hank Hill from Texas, but his friend Bill, you know, the one that was divorced, balding.
yeah.
Every now and then he gets a woman, but it's like a blue moon thing. And Bill is sad yet selfless. Like, so much has gone wrong in his life. He's fat, washed up, disgusting, won't take care of himself, but he will help others. Sometimes he is that good friend you need. Other times he is that massive simp. And it's also personal because I had a close friend of mine that self-deleted 2 years ago. Let's call him JS. Imagine Bill Dauterive. If you haven't seen King of the Hill, go look it up. But balding, 5'10", fat, schizophrenic, very simpy, did favors for girls, and it was terrible. Like, yeah, every guy has their own simp habit, but a lot of us grow out of it. The problem with my friend JS was he never grew out. He had that extreme altruism where he thought it was noble sacrificing for people. Like,
Yes.
he'd work crappy delivery driver gigs 60, 70 hours a week. He had no one in his life, and he thought it was noble giving. And it's like, if it's a close friend that actually needs help, there's nothing wrong with giving occasionally, but he would give too much. He never learned how to be selfish. Like, and you see this with the Christian church, but not just Christians. Like, there are several philosophies. Like, I don't want to get all academic, but we have in our culture this idea that selfishness is always evil. Like, you know, you ever watch Star Wars where it's like the Sith practice selfishness and they're always painted as evil, but Nietzsche, Ayn Rand, they basically said, you know what, being selfish doesn't always mean hurting people. Like, it doesn't always have to be might makes right. I'm sorry, I'm getting off topic.
That's okay. Did you want to land?
Yeah.
I'll land with this. I think nice guy, normally for 80% of guys, it just means it's code for you're not good looking enough, because controversial topic, not all nice guys are lonely losers who never get the girl. Like, there are some good, wholesome Ned Flanders guys that are wholesome, good, God-fearing, great people, but they also had the looks that, okay, they were the total package. They were. I don't think this whole dark triad, be alpha, I think everyone should be more selfish, but if a woman thinks you're ugly, even if you act like you're more dominant, she's still gonna see you as a creep. Like, that whole be alpha, be dominant. Yeah, that's gonna work for Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's not going to work for someone that looks like Danny DeVito, who was also in a Friends episode, that one where he was like a male stripper. They paid him to keep his clothes on. But you guys got a lot of people on. It sounds like a good Friday show. I want to split. Great talking with you, Doug. Great talking with you, Pearl. Nice outfit.
Thanks for calling in.
So altruism is the unselfish concern for other people's welfare involving actions that benefit others, often at a cost or risk to oneself. Driven by empathy, it strengthens social bonds and fosters community trust. Key types include kin altruism, reciprocal altruism, and cultural altruism. That's what I was trying to talk about earlier. Yeah. Good job for bringing that up, Johnny. Good job.
Okay, we'll do DAH. Welcome to the show. What are your thoughts on the topic?
Yeah, hi there. So I'm a British guy, but I've grown up in the Middle East and I've been here for over 35 years. When I first got here, it was kind of foreign for me to see women covered, to see bearded men, and I think when you're young, you kind of tend to be goodies. And as you grow older, you become more skilled, more dangerous, more capable. And where I am now as a 46-year-old, I've come to appreciate, what they have in the Middle East, that dynamic between the men and the women. It seems to work. It doesn't sound good. It's not politically correct, but, the infrastructure the man lays for his woman, don't, go with other men, even as friends, cover yourself, cover your beauty for the husband, there seems to be some wisdom there.
Right. Thanks for calling in. I appreciate it. All right, let's see. Mark, welcome back. What are your thoughts on the topic?
My thought is altruism is not the same as being nice. Nice, you want people to perceive you a certain way. Altruism, you don't really care about their perception. You're doing it because you think it's the right thing to do. Oh. You're putting yourself in their shoes. You would like people to show you mercy, so you're showing mercy. Nice, you want to look nice. You want to be perceived a certain way.
And what was your thoughts on the monologue? Do you have anything else to add about nice guys?
No, you're spot on. They're in denial. They are not getting what they want, so they think by appearing a certain way, they might get what they want without actually being assertive, without having the courage to vocalize what they want. You were spot on.
Yeah.
Cool. There's a reason women don't find them attractive.
Yeah, go ahead.
I want to ask Mark a question. So I said earlier, so I agree with you that being nice is a perception. What do you think happens first? Does a guy get nice guy results and then get labeled a nice guy? Like, what is the progression? Because I think that wait, so do you think that guys that are nice guys, they know they're trying to be nice? Is it like a strategy or something? Is it like an active thing?
Yeah,
okay.
You decide to be nice first. That's what comes first. Having been a nice guy, that's where I started. I chose to be the nice guy. I thought that by being nicer than everyone else, I was going to get the outcome I want. It doesn't work.
So then you think that nice guy denial is not a real thing? Because there are guys, because I agree with you 100%. Guys try to say, I was nice, try to act like they didn't understand that they were going to get the results they were getting by being nice. So what would you say to a guy that said, that try to act like they didn't know that being nice would get them the results that they were getting? What would you say to that guy?
I would say they were ignorant of reality. They didn't do their due diligence to look at other people trying their method to see if it works, to see if it produces the results they want. So they were just ignorant. That's okay. You can learn. Just admit you didn't know, but now you know better. I did.
Cooking did. Yeah, I agree 100%. Cook.
Paul, welcome to the show. What are your thoughts on nice guys?
I think it's all looks. I think a lot of it is looks. When you're, in my 20s, I was a model for like Moschino, in Tokyo and worked in Paris. And I mean, we got like, it was great for me. I was, single and straight. Most of the other models were gay. So it was just like open season. It was like 8 or 9 models. We could date every one of them. It was great. So it was nice. But the nice guys, I mean, I could pull any woman I wanted away from a nice guy. Just like, hey, wow, let's go with me. And she's, oh, okay, just simple. So the nice guys for me, I always thought they came in last. You know, Mom was a model. My father was. It helps. It's looks. Looks has, and even more than money. So I'd be with other guys who had more money or whatever, but I could still get a slightly better
Because you
looking gal.
You can mog.
I don't know. Mog? What is mog?
Oh, that's the new term for being like face mogging. So like if someone's better looking than you, they mog you. So you'd mog the girls and then steal them. That's what you're saying. What do you say though that won't help them once you get into a relationship? Like if you're weak as a guy, once you're dating, like once you start dating though, she's still gonna walk all over you.
Well, I mean, that's not if you're confident. If you're confident, she's never going to walk over you because she knows that at any given point you can say, hey, you know what? There's a lot of fish in the sea, honey, and I'll punch your ticket.
Yeah, but that's my point. Like, don't you think nice guys is somewhat based on behavior more than looks, or you disagree? Like,
I think it's all looks. I think looks has a whole hell of a lot because and I think that's probably genetic, right? So if you're good looking, you're symmetrical, a woman looks at you, their body says this is what you go for. They don't. I mean, that's the bottom line. If you're not symmetrical, hey, Elon Musk has got a ton of money, but he's nothing to look at. So,
did you date any famous models?
I don't know if they were necessarily famous, but
they mogged.
yeah. I mean, they were great and they were gorgeous. I mean, and all different. Like, I mean, white girls, blonde girls, redheads, Asian girls, black girls. I mean, like the chicks from Senegal, and their noses are like more refined than the girls from Finland. They were like amazing. You're just sat there. You're like, you've got to be fucking kidding me.
And you're gay men. That sounds like heaven on earth. You were with a bunch of models.
They're all I mean, I remember a couple of gigs that we were at where like it was me and this guy from Kentucky, and I was like a Midwesterner. He's like, "Yo, come back." He had the funny hat and all that kind of nonsense. He was a fucking country boy, but he like was good looking. He had the blue eyes, and he was pretty built. So he had game, and that was it. It was awesome because all the girls were straight. They were all straight. And the other guys were kind of gay. So, they were like, well, they're not interested. And they're like, we want you to pick them up here. Like, this is great.
How many guys?
This is the best day of my life.
Yeah. How many guys would pay to be in that room? They're like, I'll be your assistant, security guard, what you need.
Yeah, I mean, this definitely did not suck. I mean, it was great, but and we made good money. But I mean, it's like always you work for 2 hours and you wait for 8 for them to set everything up.
Yeah.
So I have a question about the whole looks thing. So some of the best advice my father ever gave me was those who don't have to won't, right? And a lot of guys that deal with pretty women will tell you that like they're so hard to be around because they're so good looking that society doesn't require them to have to really do anything in life.
Yeah.
Is that what you saw with these models where they were so pretty that their lives were a mess? did looks affect? Like,
yeah, I mean, looks fucked him up. Looks definitely fucked him up. But
what about the
uh,
guys? The same thing for the guys' lives too. Because I've had most of my good-looking guy friends. They haven't achieved as much as us regular guys because society gives them a pass too.
well, I don't know. I mean, I was a professor, so but they were like, Professor Paul, they have a special thing. You want to make $500 on weekend? I said, $500 doing what? You have to do modeling, and they need a kimpatsu. Kimpatsu is called the blonde-haired people. That was me. So I was like, oh, $500 I could use. So I'm like, yeah, sure, let's do it. So then I went. That's how the whole. Then they give you, you get a guy and he takes pictures, and then you get what's called a comp card, and then they put you in a model database, and then from there it just goes on and on and on and on, and after a while you're like, do I have to teach anymore? Because I'm making more money doing this. Is stupid.
Cool.
And then there's all the parties, in Roppongi, and it was you're ready to ride in limousines, and and I'm sitting there with the guys from Smashing Pumpkins, and whoever came into town played at the Tokyo Dome, and you're like hanging out with them, and you bring your whole entourage.
It sounds lit. Thanks for calling in, Paul. You're
I
awesome.
really enjoy listening to you, Pearl.
Thanks for calling.
We don't agree on everything, but a lot of stuff I think you're right.
You don't have to. That's all right.
You're
See
beautiful.
ya.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a comment.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was thinking about, why do men turn into a nice guy once they're in a relationship? I think it's because they're afraid of taking the L, of walking away if it doesn't go their way. They're afraid of the time that they've lost, the energy they've invested. So they think, maybe if I'm the nice guy, I can salvage this. I think that's part of it.
Do you agree, Sean and Doug?
I would add in, yes, I think he's right. But then, the West, it's that on top of, it's that on top of it being taught to us too. Like, I think that too many men that think that that's their eventual reality. Understand what I'm saying? And so they just end up in it. They just end up. Well, no. They put themselves in a situation and they feel it's normal. Yeah, so I'd agree 100%. I agree. And women have no idea how much. The narrative is that women sacrifice in a relationship. Women do all this work, and women have no idea how much it takes for the average guy to get a relationship and a marriage and get any kind of regular sex on a regular basis. And a lot of guys, as they get older, you see this in the workplace. Once you hit your 40s, you meet a lot of people who hate their jobs and they bitch and moan and complain about their job, but they don't want to. They'd rather be an expert in a job they hate than take the risk to find a job that's better for them.
Yeah.
At my day job, I see it all the time. I see these women, particularly black women, who bitch and moan and complain all day. It's like, why don't you just go get a different job? Well, I couldn't do that. It's like, why? You're going to sit here and complain and moan and bitch all day.
You know what it is? I think it's fear of making a choice too, and making the wrong choice. What I've noticed is, do you think Trump really took a long time to divorce his ex-wives? Did he sit there and wonder if it was the right choice? He caught, it's crazy. Trump caught wife number 2 cheating with his bodyguard and still maintained a good relationship. Never said a bad word, wished her well. It's the beta, it's the nice guys that crash out. He's like, I'll just get new. I'm going to get a Melania. I'm going to get a new.
Think about it. If he badmouthed her, how does that make him look? Because he chose to be with her to begin with.
100% true.
And men understand that, women don't.
Yep. Yeah. And I'll also say, just so fast, guys, the most important question you can ask yourself when it comes to a relationship, when it comes to your job, when it comes to your circumstances in life, is this working? Yes or no? You have to answer that question yes or no. If the answer is no, well, then all the rest is easy. Make the change. But people don't want to answer that question. Men will be in a shitty situation with a woman, and you go up to your friend and be like, bro, is this working for you? And they'll be like, and they'll be in that They don't want to answer that question because if you answer that question, that's when. If the answer is yes, it's working for you. Then shut up and stop complaining. If the answer is no, that's when the real work starts. And people don't want to start the real work. If your relationship or your marriage isn't working for you guys, ask yourself, is this working? If the answer is no, you got to start doing the work to get out of it.
Yeah. That's what I think. I think it is the fear, though. It's like the fear of making a choice.
Yeah.
I would add. Oh, go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the
emotional. I would add the other. Wait, let me add something real quick. I know we're honing in on that, and that could be a part of the equation, but I still think that majority of it is scarcity. If you move from a scarcity construct, and it's usually coupled with wanting infection from women, that is like, it's ridiculous. Like men just see their whole lives arranged around women. There was a survey that was just recently done. And 72% of men said they wanted to get married or have kids in the future. Majority of women said they don't even want men around in their lives. They just don't even like men. So at the end of the day, I think it's you're in a scarcity mindset. Leaving out, like the guy just said, he was a model. It wasn't something else that gave him the initiative to leave. It was his options. He had options. So he was like, bro, I'll punch your damn clock. Shorties have options. Y'all laughing at fat girls who say the stuff they got to say, but dudes be sliding in their DMs.
Oh my God.
You might be like, well, they don't want to marry you. Wait, hold on. This is the red pill coat. They don't want to marry you though. Doesn't matter. They still want to get with me. Yeah, it does matter because you can't have children. It's a coat. It's a coat, guys. I've seen a guy with green eyes, light-skinned dude, tall, muscular, marry a big fat Mexican woman. Like at the end of the day, it's like stop the cope and the cope strategy. And you have to realize you got to be in that. Go ahead.
And sorry, I just want to add one thing. Women don't want to get married, even when they're old.
They don't.
Even I mean, I've talked to women in their like 50s, and I talked to this woman about dating. She's in her 50s. So it's like, what more time do you have, right? I mean, she's good looking for a 50-year-old woman, but like still, right? And she's like talking about she doesn't really want to get into a relationship because she's afraid of STD. She likes to travel. She wants to have time with her kids. And I'm like telling her, I'm like, okay, well then have the sex. At least that's fun, right? And she's like, no, like I don't want to do that. And I'm like, you're 50. You got no time left and you still don't want a man. And I'm like, women never want to be in relationships or married.
Yeah. I think it's about, we do, like one of our biggest copes in the red pill is that it's the mistake of like results. Like we still think that the result is marriage and children for women. And Pearl's one of the leading people saying that that's not true, guys. Most women, their results aren't what we think they should be. Understand what I'm saying?
What do women choose with all the choice? Like Kim Kardashian, she could have been with anybody. Whoredom, social media influencer.
Yeah, IVF.
Yeah, that's
and single mothers by choice. And their girlfriends.
Hey,
that's what
she wanted to be a lawyer. She had aspirations. Cut it
out.
Yeah.
I heard that Kanye wanted to take the bar just to like because he wanted
pass
to
the first time.
It. And I heard it was a fake story, and I was so sad because I wanted it to be true.
Could you imagine if Kanye just took the bar and passed it?
Oh my God, I wanted it to be true so bad.
I've got an idea why women don't want to get married.
Okay.
Marriage takes work. A relationship takes work. It's a lot easier and a lot more exciting to be the side chick of a top dude than to put in the work to actually have a good relationship.
100% true.
It's easier to be the concubine of the king, and it's a more comfortable lifestyle than to be the wife of the farmer down the road.
Yep.
Yeah, that's so true. Because the wife of the farmer has to do a bunch of work. What is the concubine just has to lay there?
She just has to look pretty, not piss him off too much, and let him fuck when he wants to fuck. And she has a comfortable lifestyle. It makes sense. It completely makes sense, right?
The biggest example of what you're talking about is how women started using the term partner for being in a relationship or a marriage with a man, right? boyfriend, girlfriend, fiance, husband, wife have implied roles in society. Partner is nebulous and vacuous. I've never heard men say partner. I've seen like liberal guys say it, but like men in general, if they're talking about what they want from a woman, they still usually say fiance and wife. Women use this nebulous, vacuous partner, so things don't have to be defined, and they don't have to be implied roles in a relationship. And here's the thing: women say partner because it's nebulous, vacuous, and then they want to be able to determine what the terms are in that partnership. So be careful when women start saying partner. Go ahead.
If you think about it, it's a way to escape accountability. It's a way to escape having a burden of performance on them if you can constantly shift the goalpost.
100% true.
Go ahead, Mark. Go ahead.
I was thinking about why is it that people have a hard time admitting when their relationship isn't working? I think it's because they don't want to deal with the emotional consequences of admitting that they don't know what they're doing, or they chose the wrong person to try to build a relationship. They don't want to admit that. So rather than deal with that emotional consequences, they'd rather just be in denial and try to keep doubling down to get it to work, right? Why do people double down in a losing situation? They just don't want to quit. They don't want to admit that this isn't working. They don't want to deal with the emotional side of it.
The sad part about it is that can carry you far in like business and other aspects of your life, but it can be a bad thing when it comes to your personal life. You know what I'm saying? Most of the guys I know that have that problem in marriage and relationship, that dogged determination carries them well in a lot of other aspects of their life.
But notice, a losing situation is a losing situation. At some point, you got to realize I got to stop doubling down and walk away, right? Let's look at gambling. A lot of people lose because they just won't walk away. Oh, I can make this back. I can make this back. I can make this. No. It's a losing situation. Just walk away. You've become emotionally invested in an outcome. You're no longer using logic and reason to evaluate your position, and you're continuing to make decisions that aren't achieving the outcome you want. You're trapped in a mental loop.
And I would like to add to that, Mark, just to help a guy move forward with it. I always ask people this question. If you're in a situation where you're saying the relationship doesn't work, and then you say you're walking away, you're going to have a hard time convincing me on how that's a loss. The way we phrase it, the way you even think about it is all effed up. When a girl says to me, I don't like you, I want to be with this Chad Roan or Trad Dracula, I say, I sit back and I say, okay, you don't want to be with me anymore, right? She's like, no, I'm not in love with you. I say, great. I don't see it as a downside. I don't want to be with somebody who don't want to be with me. I don't want to be with somebody who despises me. I don't want to be with somebody who holds me in contempt, who treats me like a son, who treats me like a sibling. I just don't. That's just not my lifestyle. So if an individual says that I want to go off and do this, then I say, be free and peace be on to you. And I actually mean that shit.
And that's
how you need to start seeing it.
And that signals to the woman that you like yourself. Like, if you don't like you, why would we like you?
Exactly.
You're like, why?
So the common denominator.
It's some of the best advice I ever got. My father told me to consider yourself in a good position when something, somebody, or some organization tells you everything that you need to know. And so many guys, the woman they're with is telling them by their actions what they need to know, and they're choosing not to act on that information. So yeah, I agree 100%. You guys are cooking tonight. Let's go.
Sean, I got one question for you. I agree with you. But how long does it take a man to reach to that point where he admits to himself what you just said? How many men struggle to get to that point, right? We all have had to go through ego death and get to that point. That's why we can now walk away. We've gotten to that point. And we're trying to convince other men who have not gotten there that, hey, you're going to end up here eventually if you're honest with yourself.
Yeah, but they got to suffer. Simps have got to suffer. Yeah,
they need to eat that humble pie of being slapped in the face by reality.
Yeah, bitches got to be ghosted. Men got to simp. You know what I mean? It's just a circle of life.
Yeah, right. I believe in OPE. other people's experience. So a lot of times I don't have to hit my head against the wall because I seen somebody turn around with blood gushing from their head, and I'm like, all right, cool, I get the message. But some people are not like that. Some people are like, no, I got to do it too. And then they hit their head against the wall, and then they might learn their lesson, or they might patch it up and go do it again. So, you know, it's just, go ahead, bro.
I will say a life not lived, I think, is worse than a life where you make mistakes. We've all met that person that's like afraid to take risks, won't leave their room, won't go out. Like they have taken zero risks in life. And I think that's a worse way to live than making mistakes.
Yeah. I'd also say that in relationships, I think that guys, at least once in your life, you don't have to get married, but like try to build a life with somebody, because where I live, there's so many women who have never had a serious relationship. Never. And it's sad. Like one of my family members is going to be 50 and she's never had a serious relationship. And just talking to her, it's just weird. I'm like, what is so like, I changed my position on this. I think it's better to have loved and lost than to have never loved at all. You don't have to get married. Don't put yourself in a position where you can lose a lot. But like, I think that's how you can truly choose to be single, is if you know what life with a woman is like and you're choosing not to do it. And that's what a lot of these women do understand. Wait, I'm choosing to be single, but you don't have a choice because no men are coming after you, or you don't have any experience building with the man. Understand what I'm saying?
Wait, Doug, I want to add something because you just said it and it just came to my head. You said about the loss and love. Say that one more time.
I said it's better to have love and loss than to have never loved at all.
Okay, now what I want to add to that is loving yourself. It sucks if you never experienced that. And I really mean this shit, guys. It sucks if you go through, like, I don't care how many wives you had or girlfriends you had and you said, oh my gosh, I loved and it failed. Life will freaking suck at the end if you never learn to love yourself. And most men go through loves with women, maybe love of their children, but they never come to love themselves. That's why y'all deleting yourself. Y'all don't even know what I mean when I said I'd rather be lonely by myself. Lonely forever by myself if I can at least figure out how to love myself before I'm worried about, does this girl like me? Does this girl want to stay with me for 35 to 50 years? I can give a rat's ass. I will die loving myself and be completely fine and content with that. When you learn that and you reach that point, there's nothing else that can move you off your life and your square. So losing a girl here or there, or people walking out on you, it's cool. I'm the common denominator of this story called life. There's nothing else outside of me. Go ahead, Mark.
I want to point something out. For us men, when we say love yourself, if you don't understand what that means, replace the word love with respect. It's pretty damn close. That'll help you go on the right track.
Oh, that's
good. That's good.
AJ, welcome to the show. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on the topic?
Can you hear me?
Your audio is weird, man. Okay.
Yeah, you laying down in bed, dude? Come on.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna bring someone else up. We'll circle back. Thomas, welcome to the show. What do you think of the topic?
How you doing tonight? How you doing, Pearl? How are everybody doing?
Good. So what do you think of the topic?
All right. Well, all right. I consider myself a Zennial, so I'm born in 1983, 42 years old. I've been married. I've had plenty of relationships. I cannot have kids. Unfortunately, my wife could not have kids, and it didn't work out. And just looking at everything going on, you know, we need to get back to the basic family structure. That's what I believe. Mm-hmm. One parent at home, one parent working. And I don't know how we get there when both sexes are fighting one another all the time. But somebody needs to be home with the kids. Somebody needs to be giving them the right structure. And I don't know how we get back to that.
It's never going to happen in our lifetime.
I have an idea that'll help you filter for that.
Go ahead.
You ask, how many leaders can there be in a household? there has to be one head. You can't have two heads. That's an abomination, right? We call it a genetic deformity if an animal is born with two heads. You need one head. The woman has a problem admitting that basic reality, walk away. That's you have seen enough to know that's not worth your time. She might be fun fuck, but don't try a relationship. She's going to be fighting you for authority all the damn time.
Wait, I always say, guys, please, maybe I'm clueless. When did this exist? This like one parent in the household type stuff. People struggled all their lives. Everybody worked. Kids worked. We had to pass laws not too long ago to get kids to stop working. So what is this whole thing with kids in the household? You're making it up. It's nostalgia. It's holding you back. It's never been like that. For a small few people, for a small lot of time. Most people were out here working. People were slaves. What are you talking about? Most of humanity was slaves. So what, the kids were staying at home?
I'm not talking about 200 years ago. We're talking about the 1960s, the 1970s.
But
when
the
we
women,
were at home.
no, but the women born in that were married in the 50s, like in the 70s, it was the highest divorce rate ever. So
They don't like you.
Yeah,
they
you
never did.
You could have got a bitch from the 40s, and she still would have divorced your ass at like 40 or 50.
Might have been.
Yeah, like I mean, and that doesn't even include like my grandma was separated when she died, so like they had separate houses. They may as well have been divorced, but they.
No, I agree.
just
Like my grandfather was on his third wife when I was being raised up, but that's the way it was.
In order for one group to do it, they have to go get the rocks. So if you're not saying let's go get the rocks like the Middle East, then you're not gonna do it. So at the end of the day, it's just like you're gonna have to find a new mental, a new frame. That's not what we got in the West or the East. In the Middle East don't even got it. They losing their grip. Saudi Arabia letting girls drive now. They in Dubai living it up. I've been there. I lived in the Middle East.
You see Muslim feminists with platforms now?
Exactly.
Insane.
Dudes is losing that grip too, bro.
But can we at least agree that somebody needs to be home with the kids? Male, female.
Kids. Damn them kids. They need to go back, get jobs. They need to go out here and do some things. Kids will be all right, man. Kids be babied until they're 18. Now you got your kids in the household. They ain't grew up. They 25 years old. Well, my brain ain't fully developed. Like, come on, man.
My mom got her roof redone. She lives down south. And, and she's like me where she avoids companies owned by ninjas. And so she picked this Hispanic group, and the quote was less, and all the ninja companies were like, "Oh yeah, it'll take us 2 days to redo your roof." The Hispanic guys were like, "We can do it in one." Right? These three guys showed up, and their sons were like 10, 11, and 12, and were climbing those ladders, bringing roof tiles up to their dads. And best believe they got her whole roof done in 12 hours. Their son, they got there at 6 a.m. and by 6 p.m. With their sons, it was three sons. I think they were 10, 11, 12, and 10, 11, and 13, and they got that roof done in 12 hours.
Hey Pearl, what did you say earlier about the men raising kids? What did you say earlier about that?
Oh, men raise better kids. Which part?
Yeah, that's what you said, right?
Mm-hmm.
So retire yourself, men. You stay at home with your kids and get your money right.
You know what?
Stop trying to hand that. Wait, hold on. Stop trying to hand that over to a damn wife. That's why your kids all out here punks. The statistics say when you take charge, don't give her a curriculum and say, "Well, I lead." No. You can't delegate that to her. That's why your kids is sweet and sour chicken as they is now, because she raised them. You have to raise your kids as a man. Period. They get my indoctrination from me. They get the word from God. I don't pass it to no Moses. I don't pass it to no middleman, because you're going to get the Eve situation. Your kid's going to be out here listening to snakes. So take charge of your household, get yourself in a position, and you indoctrinate your children. Your woman can continue work. She can go out here and be on. I don't give a dang. But at the end of the day, I don't want her teaching my kids. Never.
The book talked about how it's confusing for children because when the mom's home with the kids, they have to react to the mother's emotions.
Yes.
So that's why everyone's like messed up, because the mother's at home and there's no incentive structure for good behavior, number one. So like, of course they raise criminals when there's no incentive for being good. So like when men parent, they'll say, like, I got caught for throwing a party when I was in high school, and like we were drinking at it. And when my mom caught me, she's like, oh, like you're a bad, like she basically was saying you're a bad kid, where my dad would say, you're a good kid. Why would you do this? You know what I mean? He's like, this isn't like you. Why would you do? And that's like a better incentive structure. Yeah. Because you're like, you're right. I'm not a bad kid. Why did I do this?
Yeah.
It's like the mothers will bring it up for all of eternity and just mentally torture you forever.
Yeah, but when
Pearl and I have talked about this.
your ass, you learn better.
What?
You want to know why?
Well, there's like the dad will give you a punishment, but then like after you're done. It's penance. It's like, like I got sent.
Pearl and I have talked about this.
Go ahead.
Where what happens is this is what I call emotional maintenance. Like parents are supposed to give you the skills and give you the confidence and maintain your emotions enough to turn you into an effective, productive person. Fathers do that to their children. A bad mother, you end up having to do that for the mom. Like the kids and the father, will have to emotionally maintain the mother instead of the mother emotionally maintaining the children. So the mother's a bad mother, does bad things, but the children have to tell the mother she's a good mother, and I'm not doing things to you to affect your image as a mother. That's the biggest difference between a father and a mother.
I want to put it like this. Both the mom and the dad understand that the child's behavior is a reflection of the parent's ability to parent. Mm-hmm. The dad wants the best possible reflection of him as a father. That's why he tells the child, you can do better. I know you can do better. Why did you do this? He's trying to create that better reflection. Whereas the mom is upset because you made her feel like a bad parent because you acted up. So now she's trying to punish you for making her feel bad.
Boom. Exactly right.
So that's why the man has to lead, and he has to say, honey, I know you feel this way. You can't do it that way. It's not going to get you the outcome you want. You want the same outcome as me. You hate the same negative outcome as me, but we're going about it a different way. Here's why I think my way is actually going to accomplish what you want more than the way you're doing it now. It's not easy, but you got to get her to see it your way. If she's not willing to see it your way, I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
And if you want to take it a step further, the way the Father's doing it, that's the biblical way. It says, think on the good things, focus on the good. So that way you stay in a more of a positive mindset. If you keep focusing on the negative, you made me feel bad, you're going to be stuck in that negative feedback loop of emotion.
I don't know. I disagree with that a little bit. And the fact that I think a good mom will whoop a child and say, I hope your father thinks this is enough. Because if this wasn't enough, he going to spank you too.
Okay. I'm not saying you don't hold the child accountable. I'm saying don't punish the child for how you feel. You have to hold them accountable for their behavior, but you can't hold them accountable for your own emotions. That's you projecting onto them the accountability you're supposed to have for yourself. That's
but how are we going to know how our moms feel every given day of the week?
It's not the
every
child's
woman has.
responsibility.
It's not about accountability. Things happen. You might have a stressful day. You might have a good day. Things happen, but it has to be a stable, this is how we're going to do it, and it doesn't change.
I agree, but what I'm saying is what we see happening is women who don't want to take accountability for how they feel, so they want to punish people who create bad feelings in them. The woman's reacting negatively to an outside influence, and she's punishing the one creating the influence instead of saying, hey, I've got some internal psychological work I got to do to figure this out, because it's not fair to punish people for how I feel, because I don't like it when people punish me for how they feel, right?
Yeah, it's why mothers overreact to everything. Yeah, I forgot, Doug MP, were you the one that told me the story about putting things on the room of your floor? Was that you?
Yeah. Yeah. So my mom, I don't know if you guys know this, but my mom was awful to me for the first 35 years of my life. Then she went to therapy. My parents got divorced. Now she's mom 2.0. She's done her best to repair the relationship. And she admitted, she said, I was so she admitted to being a scumbag for the first 35 years of my life. She said, I was terrible to you guys. She said that she was, my whole childhood, she said that she was hurting so bad that she wanted everyone else to hurt as bad as she did. And I remember one time she said to me, because I moved off to start my career at my job now, and she said, I hate you when you're here, but I miss you when you're gone. And that was my entire childhood, right? So when I was young, my mom would just kick open the door to your room and just, like, my mom was a clean freak, and she thought that things being messy was an affront to her being a mother. But you could do everything you possibly could. My room would be immaculate, and she would go into my closet and just pull stuff off the hanger and just find reasons to get upset. So we would literally, like, find the most obvious way to clean something in front of her for her to leave us alone. And so we would leave stuff on the floor. So she said, oh, yeah, because she'd always find something.
Like she was looking for something to be mad at. So they
100%.
They left like magazines on the floor. So she could
projecting.
so she could yell about that. It's like that.
There was something inside her she wasn't happy about. She was looking for an external excuse to justify because she didn't want to accept that it's something inside her. That's why she was looking for an excuse, right? Look at the common trope. The girlfriend is looking for a reason to pick a fight. She's looking for a reason. She's looking for a reason how the man doesn't measure up, why the man's the problem. Because she doesn't want to say, actually, it's not him, it's in me. I just don't want to accept it, so I'm looking for something external to blame on.
Yeah.
It's trying to escape accountability.
Okay, let's see. Welcome to the show. Gene, what is your thought on nice guys finishing last?
I agree with it. I think they do. I think I started out not being such a nice guy. I was young, studly, good looking, had the looks. Then I got married, became a beta because I married a narcissist. I didn't know what that was, a bipolar narcissist. 24 years, I thought I had enough love to make it work. And I hit her like a fire hose, and it almost killed me. And then 10 years ago, I got a divorce. And I went back and I looked like I was going to die. I'm 58. I got younger after the divorce. I rebounded. And now women have to compete for my solitude. My solitude is everything.
What made you switch? And when did you notice that you were different than when you met?
Because when I met her, she told me everything I wanted. She was my dream girl. And I married her because she already had 2 kids. And I knew she couldn't leave me. And so I played it safe. And I never did that before. And we had a kid together.
How could she be your dream girl with 2 kids?
Well, she was a high school sweetheart when we were in 6th grade. Okay. So it was one of those.
But it was someone else's kids?
Yeah. And so I had this.
Did she come back around to you later on in life? So you
no.
You liked her in high school, and then you got dug out?
That takes a single mom. You know, I bet there was a nice,
I hear you.
There was a nice girl that was like,
this is the thing. So I had 3 men that I adored. My step-grandfather and my 2 uncles. And they both married women that had lost their husbands or they got divorced. And they raised all these kids, and I thought it was so noble. And they really were great guys, right? And so I just justified it. I'm like, I'm going to be like these idols in my life and try this out. And the great news is I did it. It was worth it because I have a great relationship with both of my stepdaughters. I am the only grandfather now to all of their kids. And my relationship with my daughters finally come back around because there's a parental alienation thing that happened when I rejected my wife of 24 years, right? When I rejected her, she took away my youngest daughter. And now we're back. And, but the key, I'm on the other side of a lot of what you're discussing, but it's solitude. Solitude is my saving grace, right? Like I have a very intense career. I love what I do. Everything's wonderful now, right?
I'm going to ask you a question. So for me, a lot of the things that women say they want from a man, I did in my marriage. Oh, he needs to support my dreams. Because women, they want a successful, ambitious guy to set who they are aside to help them achieve their selfish goals, right?
Yeah.
And if you let a woman win, she wins for herself, not for you, right?
Exactly.
And
you're
so
gonna step and fetch.
yes. So I remember the worst part about being married, guys, is when you're around your wife, you have that altruism where you feel like you're doing the right thing. But I remember my ex-wife would always go to sleep before me, and I would be laying in bed looking up at the ceiling, just knowing that it wasn't right. Like I'm giving all this, I'm getting nothing in return. I'm gonna be a never was. So I got divorced, right? And like it took me 10 years to get past this. Well, I don't even struggle with it now, but like what you're talking about with solitude, maybe you have the same experience as me. When you feel a woman start having these expectations of taking your time and your purpose away from you, you just walk away from them.
Hell yeah.
And they want to know why, they want to shame you out of it. But like once you've done what Gene's talking about, and you give that much, it feels like the noose is from around your neck, and all these women they just want to put the noose around your neck again, right? Am I right, Gene?
Totally. I gave my most of my adult life to somebody who didn't possess unconditional love. It was all conditional. Everything that ever came out of her mouth, and anytime I felt like there was a little bit of love coming back at me, it was just some extra that I given her that she gave back to me. She studied normal. She was not. And, and my intuition always told me that. I remember my mom telling me, why are you marrying her? And I told my mom the reason, and she's like, son, really? And it was, so my mom even saw it. Right. But the good news is, I'm lucky enough that it didn't crush me. It almost did. I pulled out just at the last minute because I think if I stuck in any longer, somebody was going to die, right? Like, and it was likely me, but I was losing it. I looked horrible. I had built an empire. I let it crumble around me because I thought I could save this. I had the arrogance to think that I could over, and I was out of my depth. I didn't realize psychologically what I was playing with. I was playing with fire.
Gene, was it one of those where you were a mover and a shaker in your industry, a problem solver? You're a subject matter expert, and you just don't understand why you can solve every other problem in your life except for your wife, bro.
Dude, you must be psychic, because that's what I do for a living. I solve impossible problems. That's all I do. And I thought, I got this.
If I could just do this, she'll understand. And if I could just, and it goes on for years, bro.
Face plant, man.
Yeah, it's
done.
But it's like wanting to be in control of the outcome and of another person. You can't control the person.
Gene, what do you think of this? Because I made this point yesterday. Every other aspect of your life is mostly your professional career, almost everything except your relationship or marriage with a woman depends mostly on your own effort. So what you put into it is usually what you get out of it, except for with a woman.
Correct. I conceded to what Chris Rock said. A man is judged by what he can provide.
Yeah.
And I'm a provider, and I just thought that's the way it was.
Let me ask you a question, Doug or the other gentleman. What's your name? I didn't get it. Gene or Doug. If that's the situation, let's transfer it from the love romantic to just like a business relationship. Y'all both say like we're experts, we're accomplished. Yeah. What would you do with an employee who just wasn't showing up, who was being drunk, who refused to stack boxes? What would you do? Because you could solve problems, right? So what would you do with that employee who just refused to get right?
You get rid of him.
So transfer that same construct into the romantic relationship. There's a deeper problem than that. You have to figure out what it is and why you can't do that.
Well, in the corporate world, the corporate world comes with guardrails and how-to books and HR, right? And you've got to follow steps and, make sure you're not going to get sued and all this other stuff. But in general, over time, I build really great teams. And so now I don't have as many employees. I've got a lot of cowboys and cowgirls out there that work with me. And I don't have to worry about all that stuff. There is no BS. There's no rumor mill. There's no.
But again, that's fine.
But if they
like
cross the line, like you said, adios.
Yeah.
Goodbye. Night.
So that's what I'm saying. Why doesn't that same mentality, that same skill that you have in that corporate, transfer to the romantic sector on the same principles? You should be able to do
because you
it,
said it earlier. I think it was you. You talked about how, or one of you guys said it was really great. It's because we're afraid. We're afraid of either the social aspect or we've invested. You said it. So one of you guys said the investment. Oh my God, I clocked 24 years with this person.
Yeah.
No gold watch. Nobody ever thanked me for the Mercedes I got him. Never.
Do you want an example in the financial world of this mental phenomenon? People who make a losing investment in the stock market and don't want to cancel the investment. They're hoping it turns around, goes the other way. It's the same mentality.
Yeah.
Right? That's why I had to stop trading, because I couldn't break that cycle. So I was like, I tried. It's like, hey, I can't own my own psychology enough at this point to do this. So I got to stop trying trading.
Gene, I have a question. So, bad marriages, bad relationships are like losing weight. I said this all throughout the time that I've been on YouTube. People think that losing the weight is the hardest part. People think that keeping off the weight is the hardest part. I don't think that's true. I think that when you lose the weight, you get the healthier lifestyle, and you start living the quality of life that you always wanted to live, and you look back on all the time you didn't do it. Marriage is the same way. Guys, like, you have this quality of life now, and you probably look back and you're like, what the fuck was I thinking, dude?
You don't want to go back.
Do you still get upset at yourself sometimes? Where you look back? It may not be as frequent, but there are times where you probably still look back and you're like, fuck, man.
Yeah, I do. And I even go back to conversations years later. I'm like, I should have said this.
Yeah. So here's what I found. When I'm starting to feel that negative way, I just have to say, you know what? I got to show myself grace. I got to forgive myself for being ignorant. I didn't know what I didn't know. Oh, okay. End of story. Move on. I'm not feeling bad about myself anymore. I can keep moving forward.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. What?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. What?
No, because I wanted to keep building with Gene and Doug and even Mark with this. Okay, let's say that investment thing. You're like, I'm the expert at investing. But at the same time, I keep doubling down on bad investments. You wouldn't be an expert then, right? You would be like, yo, you're a bum. Like Mark said, I had to quit, right? That's cool.
In my world, I can never make a mistake. If I make a mistake, I'll never get hired again. End of story.
No, I dig it. So this is what I'm just trying to help undiscover with you guys. If that be the case, and this is what people do, I say transfer it to the romantic sector. You can't. Love is love. See, that's why you keep getting hooked and booked.
It's almost like
I always say stuff is transactional. When I do business and relationships with women, I say it's business. I know business, and I keep it business. I'm like, wait, hold on. You have no assets. You have none of this, none of this. Why would I do this again? Why would I marry you? Why would I join my empire with yours? It's a straight business deal. But if I accept, well, it's love, and with love, you don't do that. It's not business. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, you're right. Let me marry you without a prenup. Everything is transactional in business. You are an expert. Stop losing your expertise when you're transferring over. That's what women do. They don't have to invest. You know why? They just marry Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and become the richest person on the galaxy.
So kids, I got to tell you,
line and sinker.
I got to tell you, I became an expert. This is what got me out of it. I hired every great psychologist in the country on parental alienation, spent probably $700,000 on that alone. And I studied every book and gave myself my own PhD in psychology. And it was the greatest thing I ever did. Because the way my mind's so fucked up, I don't know if I can curse on here, it's so screwed up, is because I've got to understand the science behind it, and then I'll get it, right? And so that's what I did. And now I had to become an expert on psychology to understand, why the hell did I do this for 24 years? And
Mark said that yesterday.
Right.
Mark, you said that yesterday, didn't you?
And how do I course correct and get down the road as fast as I can, because the clock is ticking. And I want to cause as much trouble as possible while I'm at it.
When it comes to why men make this exception in love, it's just completely illogical. It's the same as asking a woman why she obeys her boss and not her husband.
Is
It's the same
there a
thing.
panacea? Is there a panacea? Do we have them up on a pedestal? Because that's what it was for me, right? Like I was chasing that, right?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
And,
it's
and the thing is,
illogical.
everybody suffers when men do this, because like the kids are
Yeah.
going to suffer watching you simp for your wife.
Yep.
The kids are going to like. There's not going to be order in the house. It's going to be chaotic.
It was awful. Awful.
Yeah.
I want to point
But
something
full
out.
circle, Mark, full circle.
Yeah,
This is
I
what
wanted to
Mark was
build off of
talking about
something
on
you
live
said.
stream. Go ahead, do your thing.
Okay, so Gene, you said you want to pivot as fast as possible because you got limited time. I agree. But here's the part I want to caution against. Don't expect to get results as fast as possible because it takes time to course correct. If you're desperate to get results fast, you're going to start making
I don't have
compromises.
any. I have zero expectations, brother. Period.
Okay. It's just
None.
it's a warning for
Don't
other
care.
guys who listen.
I don't give a fuck. If she can beat out my solitude, she wins. And she's got to be amazing. That's my filter.
Right. So something that Sean said is he is the architect of his reality. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I like that.
So your life is not a whole lot different than your business.
Not anymore.
Okay. You are not marrying the woman. She is marrying you. She's
I like
not
that.
hiring you. You are hiring her. Right? A company hires the employee to come serve the company's purpose, not the other way around.
Right.
Now, it can be mutually beneficial, but at the end of the day, an employee who doesn't want to help the company further its vision, that employee is on the short list to get kicked out the door, right? So this is what Sean was saying. If a woman's coming on board to help him get the outcomes he wants, because he's the architect, he's going to consider her. If she's counterproductive, she's a waste of time, she's going to slow him down and cause problems instead of being a net positive. He don't have time for that.
Got to plow around the stumps.
Right? Think about why do women like having male friends? Because it's positive for them and they don't have to put out.
Been the friend zone
Right?
a lot.
Yeah,
I get
Why
it.
do we tell men don't be that guy?
Thank you.
Because they're getting nothing out of it.
Good chat.
Welcome to the show, Mario. What is your thoughts
How you
on
doing?
nice
Fine.
guys finishing last?
Oh, I think it's completely true. After me trying to be the good, nice husband for 13 years, it didn't work out. They just run all over you.
And why do you think that is? Do you have any thoughts on the general conversation?
Yeah. Well, I've been hearing it for the whole time, and on one hand, it's like you don't know, because a lot of men, when they get into marriages, they think this is going to be the one and done. This is like my forever girl. This is the one I'm going to grow old and die with, right? And that's the same way that I did. But for me, it was different because I was serving my country and I'd been overseas 5 times, and I knew that if I stayed in and not have a family, I won't be able to at least make a legacy out of my family, from my side. So that's why I did it. But now, after all this has happened, I'm more of like, I'm going to be single now because she decided not to stay in my marriage. So you know what? I'm just going to be me. If you want to be around me, cool. Not, fuck off.
Yeah. Thanks for calling in, Mario. Appreciate you.
Why throughout history has there been a dowry? Why was the man paid to marry the woman?
Because
Not the other way around.
She came with problems. Yeah.
There's a
women
reason
have
they did
problems.
it.
That's like even all of us, every single one. There's no special women.
I didn't even get a goat. I didn't give you.
The craziest part about it is, and Gene can talk about this, is like you use every skill that you learn in your professional life, your education, to try to understand the woman that you committed to in your life, and it just doesn't work, dude. You keep trying over and over and over, and it's opportunity cost. Like Gene's probably just like me. We're like, if you could get all that time and effort back and put it into something that wasn't actively fighting, I'd be bulletproof. If I can get all the time and effort I put into my ex-wife or women and have put it towards myself, I'd be able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. Seriously. And it's just like, you just have to just the effort that you put trying to understand a woman and try to treat her like a problem you can fix, guys, it's just and days turn into weeks, weeks turn into months, months turn into years. It's just crazy how much time and effort you see that once you get out of it and you look at the cost benefit analysis, it's a rough deal, man. It's rough.
Welcome to the show, Pirate Dog. What is your thought? What are your thoughts on the topic?
What do you guys mean by nice guys? I think that's a good question for.
Did you
to
listen
answer
to
the prompt?
Did you listen to the monologue or no?
No.
I kind of went through that there. I can read it again, I guess, but
No, just like a synopsis.
Men who placate women.
Men who placate women. Yeah, totally agreed. I think I sent it earlier in the chat. The biggest issue is, we all know the old adage, like, weak men create hard times. And we're living in some hard times. I mean, I'm 26. The dating scene is not very chill anymore. I mean, I think a lot of that falls on the young men, though, because the dating experiences that you hear from young women are just awful. I mean, between hookup culture to just like these awful experiences to where a guy leads them on so much and is like, I'm ready to date you, I'm ready to step up to the plate, and then they just ghost them and they just wanted sex from them. And then these women get these ideas in their head that that's all the men in my life are going to do to me, especially if they had a bad upbringing with like a bad childhood or a bad father figure. So then they double down on this reality and they're like, well, I'm just going to treat men the same way that they've been treating me. So then they go out into the dating world and do the same thing. And they kind of, they don't expect men to stay around. They just want to get banged. And then they want to just go about their life and kind of live it however they want. And then the good guys that are out there, like me, and it sounds like a lot of you guys as well, we get the short end of the stick because we're like trying to prove to them, like, look, we're a good guy. We want to stick around. We want to lead you. And in my life, I want to lead them in a godly way, in a biblical way. But it's tough because they don't believe you, because they've experienced so many men out there that have just wronged them and that have just treated them so poorly. So
I'll bounce off of what you said. A lot of the women in your life, if you can, ask them if they think that men are just a source of pain and anguish, and they'll say yes. Even if they've never been in a relationship, they automatically assume that men are just a source of all they can bring to a woman's life is pain and anguish. Go ahead, Sean. I'm sorry.
That shout outs to the brother who said it, but Cat. I don't believe that these girls went through this traumatizing experience and all men treated them. 30% of men don't even get no kitty cat.
Your mistake, your mistake is believing them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, your mistake is believing them. You believe in the snake, right along with Eve.
What I'm saying is there's a social infrastructure in place for the past 40, 50 years where men are just harmful to women, and women believe it. Whether they have the experience. I'm not saying that women went through that. I agree with you. A lot of women have never. It's just like how black people try to say, "Oh, slavery," but most of us have never been through it. But how many black people act on this boogeyman that never happened? Women are the same way. They act like they went through all this trauma when none of them went through it, but they still navigate the dating market that way. Go ahead.
And if you talk to the guys, you're not really going to know the real story till you talk to the guy that led them on. Half the time, they'll tell you that they told the girl that they didn't want anything early on. Like,
well, I will second. I would say this.
And personally ask them their jobs, the jobs of these guys. A lot of times it's like a job where it's like, what did you expect?
Yeah, that's true.
It's like the bouncer cheated on me. Well, you know what I mean?
The bartender cheated on me. Yeah.
How did that happen? You know,
I found out the personal trainer was banging 4 other women besides all of his clients.
Stacy, what? Like, come on.
Yeah, I don't know how old most of the chat is. Like I said, I'm 26, so not too old, but I mean, I would just say my own personal experience, my friend groups and everything growing up, I have seen firsthand my friends that are men do that to women. I've called them out and said it's wrong everywhere. It's a plethora. It's like a toxin that exists. They text 10 different girls at one time, things about them wanting to date, and then the girls come confide in me crying, saying, yeah, but he like literally told me that he wants to date me.
Don't be that guy, dude.
And that's what I'm saying, but it's already out there and it's already rampant. I'm not that person, but trying to convince these girls that that's
don't be the guy that Don't be the guy these women talk to about the toxic. Don't be that guy, man.
Right.
Don't be the
And
friend.
what
Well, like
are you doing?
I'm the guy's friend, and I'm kind of like in the area with
Oh,
him. So
bro,
like,
you gotta stop
Hold
that
on.
right away.
Hold on a second. I've been the guy talking to multiple girls. Have you been that guy? Do you know what
yeah, but
that
I'm not.
does to
I'm
your
not leading
ego?
them on
Hold
saying that I'm going to date them for 10 years. Like,
You should.
That's fair. That's fair. Okay,
You
I wasn't
should.
leading them on, but I was flirting with multiple
No.
girls. I understand the emotional high that it does to your ego. I get why they do it. Do I agree with them lying to the girls leading them on? No, I don't agree with that. But at the same time, I get why they do it. They have to live with themselves. I don't. At the same time, they're not going to listen to me if I tell them stop it because they're doing it. They're going to keep doing it, right? Now, I want to point out an underlying theme. We are all realizing that there is this infrastructure of social conditioning that gives people a false expectation. If you do the blue pill, you get this certain outcome. And we're all seeing it doesn't work. We're seeing the young men learn the lessons that we have learned through pain and suffering. And because we learned it the hard way, we're not going to give up that lesson. And now we're actually trying to do something positive about it by calling it out for what it is so that maybe someone else can learn it with less pain. So props to all you guys.
Yeah. Were there any signs from these women that he wasn't, in fact, taking them seriously? Like, were there any warning signs?
That's beside. I mean, like, so. But what I'm gonna say is like, yeah, I'm not avidly like out there like, let me be a shoulder to cry on for these girls, but they'll just come up to me at a place and say like, your friend did this to me, and I'm like, yeah, I was there, I saw the text messages, I saw him saying that, I saw what he said, I told, I've seen what he's talked about with you and how he does that to 20 different girls, and like, that's just something I don't want to participate in. My only point is that type of behavior does not help the dating market and it doesn't help the world. It's not a positive outcome to this reality. The fact of the matter is we're dealing with a dating market and just a hurt group of like a hurt world, a hurt generation of people that are just treating people awfully. How do we fix it? I don't think doing that type of stuff is going to make it any better.
Oh, yeah, but what did the girls do? Did they leave or did they just keep going?
No, they kept going, but only because young women are very susceptible. We all know this. Like, they're very susceptible people. They'll believe whatever you tell them. So that's why men, as the leaders of this generation, as the protectors, the providers, the people that are in charge, the people that are supposed to be leading them in a godly, biblical way, are not doing that. So that's just how it is.
Yeah, but what are they supposed to do if the women
Let's
don't respond to men in a godly, biblical way?
Okay. I want to point something out. Those women are going to be attracted to those men no matter what kind of logic you use because of how those men make them feel. So if we want those women to make better choices, we have to demonstrate to them that we can create that exact same feeling in them, but in a more ethical way. That takes a lot of work, and a lot of men don't want to put in that work. We can learn to create that same kind of attraction in those women so they can see, actually, you know what? I don't have to go with the bad guy. I can find a guy who has better character, who can still make me feel that damn fucking excited that I want him, that I'm going to chase him.
Wait, hold on, pause. Did we see the phone? All right, so you said you seen the messages that your friend sent as a man. Did you see her messages and the message she was sending to other guys? Or was she only talking to him? Stop the cap. We always keep coming with humanize these goddamn women. Stop trying to put them in this stage. That's y'all biggest weakness. Every time a woman comes, y'all try to put them in this, women are like children. No, they're not. They're equal citizens.
Yes.
And they're humans. And then at the end of the day, they're
willing participants too.
Stuff just the way. They are out, not the participants. You keep looking at it from that. They are committing the same atrocities. You act like these girls are going out here. Man, I'm only got tricked by this guy. Besides that, I was sitting on the top of the hill eating the apple and being goody two-shoe. No, they were not.
Was that the only guy?
They was popping it.
Yeah.
They was popping it, Pearl. They was twerking. They hit puberty before you. You was still pushing blocks and Pokemon cards, and they was looking at boys. They've been in the game longer than you. Wake up.
Yeah, like, what if she, like, how do you know she wasn't talking to other dudes too?
No, she definitely was.
What?
Okay, I'm just proposing an idea, and you're totally right. I'm proposing an idea, though, that it's like, okay, you said this, women are not children, obviously. To say that men and women, no, of course. Men and women are equal in terms of humanity, in terms of like how much value they have. But in terms of their role in life, they are not equal. And one question I will pose that I've heard before on podcasts, I think Pearl, you're actually on one that talked about it, is who controls access to sex? It is solely women. That is a very key thing to bring into this conversation. They control access to sex 100%, hands down.
Women control
Men
access.
control access to relationships.
I think women control access to both.
Yeah.
No, because why are women chasing the man at the top, trying to get the man to commit to them?
Again, y'all stepping into women frame. Men are too. I tell bitches, you ain't getting no D. Please, daddy, give me some D, please. Y'all never known that. That's why girls don't sniff your dirty drawers. It's because y'all don't know this construct. Y'all step into the construct the opposite way, which is she controls sex. No, you don't. There's sex out on the internet for $9.99. How you going to control something that's in a surplus?
You know, I'm sure everyone in here has rejected women and rejected them trying to have intercourse with them, but it is only at the guise of them consenting to that at all times. If a man comes forward to you at any point in time and is like, I was sexually assaulted by a girl at a bar, I'm not, what? Like, what do you mean you're sexually, how did she overpower you? How did she, that doesn't make any sense. Like, how were you sexually assaulted by a woman at a bar?
Both are usually consenting adults.
I would say
control it.
I would say women control access to relationships because an average woman's going to have more choice than an average guy, always. Like, you could argue maybe 100%. A small percentage, right? 100%. But like the average girl is going to have more choice than the average guy. Because nowadays, relationships don't start till sex happens.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Pirate, I just have to get back to...
Wasn't there a point, though? Don't y'all say in the space, it's usually the girls who ask, what are we? That's what y'all say. I don't say that. But see, y'all don't make no sense. How they control that too. And then most people say, man, girls are always asking the guys, what are we? Are we serious? Are we going to get serious?
I think that Pearl's talking about the majority if you consider the average. Like,
you're talking about the average.
Yeah, at least 51 to 52% of the time is what Pearl's talking about.
I just, when I saw a fat woman's Tinder, and that just changed everything. Will some men pump and dump, but it's just a numbers game. Like, there's a black guy that'll do it out there.
100% true.
I want to point something. We see what the average is. The woman is controlling it, and we see it's not working out well, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So men, we have to adopt this mentality. She doesn't control access to sex. It's a privilege for her to have sex with me. We got to get to that point where the woman actually believes it because we are above average because we are the architects of reality. I know that,
but you have to have the results to back that up, though.
Yes, I've been.
Because the worst thing you can do is think that, but not have put in the work to have those options.
Yes, I've done the work.
Just caveating.
I don't disagree with you. I'm telling her, no, I'm not going to let you.
Yeah, and I don't even think you have to do that because then Chad Roan and Pookies and Ray Rays wouldn't exist. Bruh, you could forever do that. Look, this is the funny part. This is the arrogance that people have. If I'm financially literate and I'm above average, I'm a multimillionaire, and I come start giving you advice about how you could possibly increase your wealth, and you're like, blah, 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 blah. You should shut up and listen and follow the strategies. It could apply to you too. So the same thing is if a guy is getting above average results and they're ethical, right? Shout outs to adding that on. And he's trying to tell you this, I can't do that because I'm short. See, you ain't even got the mindset, bro. Get out of here. It's like when you're talking to a brokey. Like, get out of here, man. I'm trying to tell you what steps you need to take because I've been there, done that. And then you're always rebelling with this, but. So at the end of the day, like he just said, yes, you have to do work on yourself, but you could be average and get these results. This is your construct. You have an actual voice in the marketplace too. But if you just keep saying, we don't have no access, women control sex, they control everything. Okay, damn, then you're gotten from this jump. You'll always be hook, line, and sinker. That's it.
I just want to get back to the nice guy thing. So Pirate, you can't be the kind of guy that your friends, girls have to mess around with will show their text messages to, dude. You can't be that guy, dude. You can't.
Like, I'm sorry. That was sort of something that's not like a regular occurrence, and I'm not like the friend or the shoulder to cry on. I was just mentioning that like they would drunkenly come up to me knowing that I'm friends with the person and just like, like I'm not like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry that he did that to you. I'm just like, whatever. Like,
Well,
okay.
this is just general. This is general. And then like you gotta shrink what you like these big causes of the world and all that stuff. Like especially when you're 26, you can't do anything about that right now, dude. You really can't. You need to focus, like shrink what you're focusing on. Like Sean said, love yourself and focus on yourself and focus on building yourself up first. Because the worst thing you can do in your 20s is get attached to these big, larger societal issues. And you do that later on, but right now you can't afford to do that, dude. You really can't. Society as a whole, honestly, like now, oh well.
I have a big YouTube channel, and I'll tell you, I know a lot of these people with a lot of influence. They can't do shit. It drives them crazy.
Yeah, yep.
They can't do shit. Welcome to the show, Sean. What are your thoughts on the I know you got thoughts on this topic. Nice guy finished last for a reason.
I mean, the reality is, right, there are no nice guys. There's unattractive men and there's attractive men. That's what it is. Like, attractive men don't have to be nice. They can be assholes because they have plenty of women chasing them. And quite frankly, that's why they get a little bit more heavy-handed. Unattractive men act nice. They act all spineless because they think they have to shuck and jive for women in order to get one. But if they had women banging on their door, you best believe they wouldn't give a crap. Like, I can tell you right now, you can take unattractive men here with some money. You send them to Thailand or wherever there's pay to play abroad. They'll start turning into assholes real fast. So what I'm trying to say is, like, that's not who they are. It's who they act like in the absence of any power. That's really what it comes down to.
You know, I will add too, there's a bunch of slores out there. I don't think getting with a girl is difficult. It's not. I mean, you can go out anywhere and have a girl come up to you and approach you at any attractive level. I mean, some girl's going to be into you somewhere. It's the quality of women that are out there that are harder to find. I mean, you can carry yourself in a demeanor to where you're respectable and attractive and you're confident in yourself, but those girls only gravitate towards you when you can prove to them that you're like a safe space, you know, because that's what they're looking for.
You know, I disagree with that because I've traveled abroad to different countries. I've gone to, more conservative parts of Canada. I went to parts of Europe, Eastern Europe. I've been to Asia. The women there act very different. I'm not saying they still don't have female nature. They absolutely do. There's no doubt about it. But they will act very nice and pleasant to you simply because you're a man in certain countries, because they are just socially conditioned that way. So, like, it's just a reflection of what you're seeing here. Is there's just a very anti-male sentiment here for reasons I just don't understand, quite frankly. Even though American men are some of the nicest men on the freaking planet, it's just beyond me as to why the women are this way, but they are. You can say it's media propaganda or whatever. So, like, what you're seeing here is just a reflection of low-quality women. And so we start thinking this is normal, and then we start saying, oh, well, it's everywhere. I promise you, you go to parts of Asia, you go to parts of, Europe, in the East, what have you. Now, granted, they might be looking for money and different things like that.
Yeah,
but
they are.
They'll at least show you respect, 100%.
I want to point this out. What we're seeing is a reflection of low-quality men and women. It takes two to tango.
Yeah, Mark's 100% right.
Society is built by both sides.
Bingo.
We both contribute to it, or we both detract from it. And right now, we got a lot of people detracting from it, and not a lot trying to contribute to it. Society conditions us with this paradigm. If the guy plays his cards right, he might get lucky, right? That's nice guy thinking. It doesn't work. Women are attracted to the man that if she plays her cards right, she might score, right? Women like that which is rare. Us men, we like that which is rare. Why do we want the hottest girl out of all the average girls? We want the one that's rare. We want the girl that's prettier because she's rarer than the uggos, right? Why do women want the hot guy versus the ugly guy? He's rare. We like what's rare, right? So the guy who comes off as if she plays her cards right, she might score. That is a lot more interesting to the woman than if the guy plays his cards right, he might score. So if she starts saying, if you play your cards right, you might score, you got to shut that down because she's saying you're beneath me. I have more options than you.
Yeah, I disagree with that. Like, women want what's better. and everything's relative, right? So if you're around a lot of high quality guys, they start wanting even higher quality. They start wanting taller. They start wanting richer. Men will bang up, will bang down, will bang sideways. We will bang simply new. I've seen men in relationships with very attractive women who will cheat on them with less attractive women simply because it's new. So I don't think it's simply men are looking for better. I think we're looking for novelty to a degree. That's absolutely true. And I think compared to the dating market today, I think most men will just take a girl who's not fat, who acts nice.
Yeah, because that's more rare than the ugly fat one. You put the ugly fat one, the not fat pretty one, which one are the men going to choose? The one that's harder to find. There was a time in history where the fat woman was considered beautiful because she was considered healthier and more fertile. She comes from a wealthy family. That was the standard of beauty at one time. Now it's the skinny one who ain't fat.
But not like 2026 fat though. Like, this is like Marilyn Monroe was considered fat type of, not the whales swimming around right now, dude. Come on now.
Guys, I take the fat ones. I've seen guys with girls who are handicapped. They ain't got no legs. They ain't got no arms. Like, bro, guys.
We all know what color.
But how much
guys are just out here hurting.
How much options does he think he has?
I promise you, fat women are not alone in 2026. They can find a guy any given night.
Fat chicks need love too.
But hold on. The men that they are with, those men, what options do they think they have? Do those men really respect themselves?
Because they bang fat chicks?
If they think a fat chick is the only chick they can get.
Oh, well, no, but a lot of times, like, they're banging fat chicks and skinny chicks. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe you could
or the fat chick, she bring McDonald's in a flurry. So it's not.
I've heard they Gluck 9000 to know tomorrow.
Yeah, Gluck 9000 a McFlurry.
Your best eater. How much did she weigh, fellas?
Yeah, it's just like single moms. You literally have guys saying bang single moms because the sex is easy and they have snacks in the cabinet, so you can get some applesauce and some Cheez-Its. Yeah,
some Cheez-Its, Pringles. They got all the stuff.
But at the same time, isn't the guy kind of saying, I could do better, but this is easy, so I'm just going to go for this. That's what I'm saying. It kind of comes off as he's taking the easy option.
Yeah, that's true.
Mark, I promise you there are attractive men who will have a hot girlfriend, but will sleep with fat women on the side. Simply because they're nicer and, they cook and different things like that. They may not give that girl a relationship, but they'll still sleep with them on the side. I promise.
Have you seen the Goblin that Arnold Schwarzenegger had a kid with?
Oh my God.
Remember Arnold Schwarzenegger's nanny or whatever? That freaking.
I can't believe, honestly, this might be the smartest woman alive to have pulled that off.
Bro.
I mean, like, honestly, how could this woman have done better, like, in life? I'm going to show you guys. This is, with the cards she had, I just can't think of anything better for this woman. So this is the nanny Arnold Schwarzenegger had.
Bro.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if this is your face card as a woman, that's like the best play ever. Get in there. Of course, the hot wife is going to hire you because she's going to think, oh, he's not going to fuck just anything, right? That's what he's going to think. And so she'll allow her into the home. And now the Arnold Schwarzenegger got this woman pregnant. Like, that's genetics way out of her league. Like, that woman had no business banging Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, it was just her being around. And because remember, his wife was a Kennedy, and she's probably impossible. And guess whose arms he would go into, all throughout those years. And she was around for years. So she just bided her time, dude. Ended up with a kid with one of the most successful men on the planet.
Fat chicks in the chat. I have a play for you.
Think about what that says. His wife took her position for granted and got outbeat at the wife game by the nanny. It's a win for the nanny. It's a loss for the wife.
Yeah, ladies, go move to LA. If you're into the celebrities, go move to LA and be a nanny. Yeah. This is what you could do. Fatten yourself up before interviews so the wife will approve it. So gain like 50 pounds before the interview, and then after you get the job, just take the weight off, and then boom.
Or just wear a fat suit.
It's LA. Just hire a makeup artist to make you look ugly for the first interview in the first couple of weeks, and you're good to go.
Whose husband could you steal? Let's see.
All of them, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine.
Who couldn't you steal at this point?
Yeah, I mean, go ahead.
Here's something cheaper than a makeup artist. Just don't wear makeup during the interview.
Yeah, that's true. There you go. That's true.
Married
So.
celebrities. Where you got? Yeah, ladies, you can just Google married celebrities and then boom. You're welcome.
Yeah, but back to nice guys. I think Pro was cooking earlier. I like Mark's point about there are guys who try to act nice to get nice kind of results. It's just you gotta. But Sean said it the best. Black Sean said the best. Guys, make sure to focus on yourself and be nice to yourself first and foremost. That'll give you the best results. And then someone said, I think it was Mark. Mark said that if you think that you're going to get some kind of outcome, a lot of the nice guys, they didn't look at the guys being nice around them and the horrible outcomes they were getting. Guys, a lot of times people think there's two positions. You're either moving forward or backwards. You're making progress, or there's three positions. There's moving forward, moving backwards, and then just standing there and taking a look around before you make your next set of decisions. Guys, look around at the men around you. Look around at what's going on around you, because like Black Sean said, you got to get to the point where you don't have to knock your head on something to know that it's going to hurt your head. You know what I'm saying?
I want to add this. If you think a certain method is going to work, look for other people who have tried it and what results they got. Then make your decision. Don't commit without doing your due diligence. It'll save you a lot of time and trouble.
Yeah, but I think the problem is most young men, they look to movies and TV to figure out how to act, and they kind of sell them a lie. You know what I mean? Like if you look at Disney Channel, whether it's Lizzie McGuire or Big Bang Theory, where they always show the nerd who gets with the girl at the end. It's like, that's not real life, but that's what they think is real. So it's almost like the media wants to keep this grift going.
And the sad part about that, Sean, is because of YouTube, you actually have less. It was even worse in the 80s and the 90s, bro, because we didn't have the internet or YouTube or like alternative media. So like I always say, us 90s raised guys were the biggest simps ever born into society, because between the R&B music with Boyz II Men and stuff, we had Urkel chasing Laura on every single comedy on TV was the guy being the father's an idiot. The son has to chase some girl who doesn't want him. So guys are better off now when it comes to what we're talking about than they were 15, 20 years ago. It was brutal 20 years ago, dude. It's ridiculous.
I think they were simps back then. I mean, dudes was talking about, if I go to World War II and make it back, I can get the best girl from my high school. Like, that's insane. So most of the time, men have always been under this construct. Look, I think most guys, like I said, it's reinforced by guys. It's just people at the end of the day. I'm not blaming media, the Illuminati, or the Jays. It is just people at the end of the day. It's so insane. Pearl, I remember somebody was saying, there's a king here in Thailand, right? He's a king. And people were like, hey, man, he got multiple women. He should be faithful to the queen only. I was like, he's a king, you idiot. Like, even the construct of a simple man thinks a king should just be beholden to one woman. He's a king of a whole country. Mm-hmm. He can't have concubines? And dudes are like, no, it's not traditional. Knowing that kings before
that's pretty traditional.
A West Wing of 50,000 women. Look at y'all mindset today in comparison. Back then, y'all would be like, yeah, he's Lord. He's Duke. He's supposed to have a bunch of bees. Yeah. Now, y'all are communists. Coochie communists. Y'all want all the coochie to be divided equitably. You are egalitarian. I know y'all be like, women are egalitarian. You are egalitarian. Yeah. You want all the coochie to be spread out equally amongst everybody. And if you see somebody winning, Y'all start shaming. Y'all start good guying, nice guy technique. That ain't right. He a Chad Rowe. He tread Dracula. Watch out. Like the guy said, oh, your friend mistreated me. Oh, man, that ain't right. He shouldn't be doing that. I would have just kept it P and be like, let me see your phone, though.
Yeah.
And then she would have been like, no, you can't see my phone. So exactly.
I want to add to what Sean is saying. Instead of trying to shame him for success, just admit you resent him and you're envious of him. Just be honest.
And you know, it's funny. I was the guy that I told Pirate not to be. 21, 22 to 23. I was the guy that women would come over to. Oh, he's such an asshole. Oh, there. And then they go back. I feel so much better. And then go back and see that same guy all over again. I was that guys, and like a lot of us were. And the biggest difference is I'm willing to. I hate platforms where guys say that they've never simped. They've never been a girl's friend where they helped her move and did all this stuff without getting anything. I was that guy. I'm not that guy anymore. A lot of us were, guys. It just depends on how long you were that guy and what you did to change it.
Wait, so they would come to you, cry, and then go back?
Oh, bro, it was bad. Oh, I'm staying up all night. I have to work tomorrow.
I'm going to share my L. I'm going to share my L. Girl I was crushing when I was a teenager. She'd be crashing out because of stuff with their parents. I would drive across town, stand outside her window trying to talk her down. I've been that guy. I get it.
Yep. Altruism, dude. Well, actually, nice guy, like you said. You know, you thought
it's nice guy. It's not altruism, because altruism would actually help fix the problem by not understanding you're not actually helping solve it. You're just placating her. You're trying to validate her emotions to be the nice guy to try to win her loyalty. It don't work. She didn't respect me.
Well,
The results prove it.
Well, that's not altruism, right? Altruism is you do something nice, but you don't expect anything in return. The reality is nice guys are expecting that they're going to get some sort of outcome, which is why they're not altruistic. If anything, they're worse than the assholes.
And it's as a girl, it's like you don't want to accept anything from women do accept a lot of things, but there's times where like women, it's like we don't want to talk to a guy for too long because it's like, oh, is he going to get the wrong idea? Or like accept gifts at times.
Well, I don't know about that. I think a lot of women like to use a guy in the friend zone. They know what the guys want, you know what I mean? But they're kind of like, I don't want to give up the attention, and maybe he comes over to fix my toilet, and he's gonna pay for my Uber. Like, they kind of know.
Okay, fair enough.
Bro, remember that reaction I sent you where the girl's like, "Thank you for buying all those drinks for me. My boyfriend's here," and the boyfriend's like, "Oh yeah, oh you bought her drinks all night." Thanks, bro. And the guy's like, bro, that's messed up, dude.
Yeah, but it's almost like he's almost teaching the guy a lesson so he can get a girl someday. It's almost doing him a favor. You
learn it early than later.
Yeah, you gotta have clavicular steal your girl once to learn your lesson,
That's true, dude. Yep.
Okay, I think I'm gonna close out the show. If you guys want to give final thoughts, Sean, then Mark, or White Sean, then Mark, then Black Sean, then Doug MPA.
Okay. I mean, I'll go first. I think the red pill on like social media and things like that, it has done a lot to cleanse as many nice guys as possible, at least in the younger generation. So I think that's a good thing. But I still think it's always going to exist just because guys want to be hopeful. They want something to strive for, even though it doesn't exist. And I think the media will continue to perpetuate it because they see keeping men motivated keeps Western society going. So I don't think it's ever going to die out. That's just my take on it.
Cool. Thanks, Sean. Mark, go ahead.
Here's what I'm going to say. Being a simp, trying to be the nice guy, and then learning it doesn't work. I think that's just part of growing up, part of maturing for us men. We all think, oh, I know better. I can do it. I can be the exception. It's a bit of arrogance. It's a bit of entitlement. Unfortunately, reality is going to humble you. It's just a question of how long it's going to take you to realize certain things don't work. Let me just go listen to the people who've learned the hard way.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks for calling in, Mark. Sean, go ahead.
Yeah, I would just say, men, be good to yourself. and be good to good people. If you follow by that, you should be all right. But at the end of the day, protect yourself at all times. Shout outs to Pearl, shout outs to Doug and the White Sean. Peace.
Thank you, Doug MPA.
So it's Asian Sean, not White Sean. He's Asian.
Oh, actually, I knew that. That's the worst part.
Yeah.
I knew that he's Asian.
Yeah. I think he's like Indian or something. Yeah, guys. You know, being a nice guy, it's like, I'm not gonna say, I don't want to not hold guys accountable, but there's just a social infrastructure in place that just makes guys that make you think that you're gonna get results from simping. And you meet guys who somehow avoided this. Maybe they just saw the results early, or their dad taught them and stuff. You get pissed off as a nice guy when you see guys who aren't nice get results. It's just, you got to look at the results that you're getting in your life and choose to change it. Ask yourself in any situation, is what you're doing working? And if the answer is no, all the rest of it's easy. And guys, honestly, like, the aspect of being a nice guy, they're not going to get you the results that you want. And like, just figure out accordingly. You know, a lot of guys, they can be assholes, or they choose not to deal with women, period. Just, you know, just try to get the results that you want to get. And a lot of times being nice isn't going to get you there.
Cool. Thanks, Doug MPA.
Great show. You were cooking earlier.
Thanks. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. I think I'm going to do this show again at a later date. I love this new material. I've been reading Dr. Robert Glover. When I Say No, I Feel Guilty. That's another one. And Ryan Stone's work. And those three guys, you know, it's like the more into the red pill I get, the more I realize how frustrated Rolo was in 2023 when I got famous. Because I'm like, wow, I didn't know what I didn't know. I'm like, this stuff is cooking. It's tough being a woman. They just throw you into being a DEI hire, you know, but I'm here, so it's all right. All right, guys, like the video and subscribe. Thanks for watching. And next week, so we're filming the doc. I think I leave Friday to go film the documentary for divorce. So next week I'll probably do shows Tuesday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday, maybe Wednesday too. So I'll do 2 or 3 shows. And then we're going to get on a more consistent schedule after we finish the doc filming. I didn't see the point of getting a consistent schedule now because I'm like, it's going to be inconsistent for like 3 weeks till this filming's done. So. All right, guys, I love you. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it, and I'll see you next time.